Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Giovanni Hall Art. I was working on my Chun-Li drawing. I updated it to work on the swimwear, what they released for the game. I'm slowly going to incorporate that. I'm going to change up a little bit. I do like the original design I had. So I'm just going to keep that and then go from there. So I'm just going to clean up a little bit, then paint it, and go from there. All right. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Tumblr, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon for more exclusive. Links are in the bio. All right, let's go. Also, just watching some documentaries, body cam footage back.
That's fine. That's cool. No worries. That's fine. I appreciate you. Yeah, literally right when we came up, someone was arguing, so I just assumed he was already in. And then as soon as we walked past both ways, it just stopped. I was like,
No, that's not there. Isn't there? It's this one. That dog was big.
Was it?
That dog was a king corso, I think.
Oh, shit.
He didn't look happy to see me.
No.
ClickUp AI Note Taker is different than all the rest. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes. It captures everything, from action items to key decisions. And after every call, you get a clear summary. But where it really goes to the next level is that it's the only AI note taker that connects your meetings to the rest of your work. So stop stressing about taking notes and get the AI note taker that works for you. Get ClickUp AI Note Taker for your next meeting.
Kind of crazy how AI
Welcome to the Klondike Adventures game.
is so
I promise
prominent
it's the best
as
one
used for
you've ever
everything.
seen. Get ready for the expeditions in the wild with the most fluffy helpers and friends. Explore the adventures in the most breathtaking places.
Good to see how things go.
Icy
with that
fjords,
in the future.
ancient forests, mountain temples,
So how did this altercation between you two start?
Shit. She ain't one that was called. She kept trying to kick me out because I needed a space to sleep. I can't sleep in my car. It's cold in there. And I can't have my gas on. I don't got no gas. And I don't got no job right now. So she gave me like $150 to bring her up here. Now, how am I supposed to get back?
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
So she's wanting to stay here and she wants you to go back?
Yeah, with what?
Yeah.
I mean, did you kind of like know that when you was driving her up
She
here?
said she was gonna come back.
Crazy.
She didn't say that she was gonna do all this.
How long y'all been together?
We've been together for a year, and we wasn't together for a whole 5 months. And guess what? I was still spending.
We can't hit audio on this one.
Just for her to treat me. It's crazy. And then she tore up my grandparents' crib too, so that's really why we not cool no more. Cause it's like I'm crazy for love.
Yeah. If she was in jail for, you said, doing something to you?
Domestic violence.
Was it towards you or?
Yeah, she bit my finger
Okay. When did that happen?
in North Carolina.
We'll be at a
How long ago?
copy.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Crazy, right? And you know what's crazy? I even picked her up. I
Okay.
went to the court and testified for her, and got her out of jail. I went to the jail.
Alright, I really can't hear this audio, so I'm gonna skip some for a bit.
Boom! I'm like, yo! Instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking.
Do you have you hit that?
When it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, there is now over 25 years of incredible stories through the manga, the animation, the video games, the trading card game, and more that detail why Yu-Gi-Oh, no matter when or what got you into it, has connected so many people together, building lifelong friendships and strong bonded communities. Throughout my different Yu-Gi-Oh video series where I explore the lore of each generation of the property, I've been able to connect with so many over our shared love of the franchise. The animation side of Yu-Gi-Oh is what really drew me into be invested into all of the other aspects aside from the original manga, which really drove home my love for Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. So that's why we are mainly taking a look at what the anime for each Yu-Gi-Oh series had to offer. While I have already gone through the first generation of Yu-Gi-Oh covering the original 5 seasons the show had, yes, even season 0, today we are continuing our look through Yu-Gi-Oh's second generation, Yu-Gi-Oh GX. Last time, we took a look at the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in detail. Today, not only are we going to be taking a detailed look through Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's second season, we'll also be talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga a bit, as it is very different from the anime. While this is going to be a 3-part series in total, each part can be viewed standalone, as each only cover a specific section of the lore. So join me as we head through our journey of what Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX has in store for Jaden Yuki and his friends, with the series getting into darker storylines and planting the seeds of what is to come in the 3rd season. And for those asking, yes, in part 3 of the series, not only are we going to be talking about the 3rd season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in detail, we also are going to be talking about the 4th season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which was never translated and brought outside of Japan. So I can promise you, if you've never seen anything more of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX outside of what was shown in English in the US, then you haven't seen the actual ending to the series, and oh boy, do things get even darker and weirder. So stick around for part 3 coming
so I remember
sometime
watching Yu-Gi-Oh!
soonish
GX.
after this video. But with
It
that
never
being
really made
said,
sense
grab
to
your
end it.
notebooks and dual disk, we're heading back to class. Last time on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the world was threatened with what the wrath of the sacred beasts could bring thanks to the secret evil group known as the Shadow Riders trying to unlock them from their chamber beneath the school. Thanks to Jaden and the others, but let's be real, mostly Jaden, the person behind the Shadow Riders, the superintendent of Duel Academy, was stopped after a fierce duel where Jaden was able to best the sacred beasts and help him understand that doing evil stuff like this is a bad thing. Who could have guessed? No real consequences for the superintendent. Throughout the season, we met a lot of incredible duelists, some more friendlier than others, some having more chances to grow than others, but all in all, a nice varied group of duelists getting a chance to show their skills and build some sort of connection to Jaden. Speaking of Jaden, he proved to be one heck of a duelist who ended up making lots of friends during his first year, but also a fair share of enemies. But now, will those same duelists get even more time to build a fleshed out relationship with Jaden? Is his best buddy Cyrus going to prove himself more that he does belong here and won't just live in the shadow of his brother Zane's legacy? Will Chaz have something more to gain this season for himself after essentially having to rebuild himself for himself? Will Alexis explore any feelings she may or may not have for Jaden? Will Bastion be able to best Jaden in a duel as their friendly rivalry may heat up some more? Will Chun-Li have a fun time at Industrial Illusions making artwork for the Duel Monsters game? Well, there is still a lot left to go through for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And now, after Jaden ended the year with a duel with Zane where it resulted in a draw, what challenges await him in this new school year? With Zane graduated and a bunch of new characters to get introduced to, Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is looking jam-packed with so much lore to break down.
Next, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Monday will mark 30 days since 17 grade school children have disappeared. Community members have issued a $50,000 reward for any information. Any suspicious individual or activity should...
This is a true story.
Weapons, no playing.
By continually asking how, we're helping to develop a lower carbon fuel alternative that one day could be used on the road.
Another day asking how.
Another day developing one of the fuels of the future.
I messed up there.
You're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Now it is time to return to Duel Academy for the second year with Jaden narrating to tell us that despite passing all his finals that for some reason he's still in the Slifer Red dorm, leading to Cyrus asking who he's talking to as he says he's talking to his fans, he guesses. Oh my god, I think we're the fans he's talking about. How
That's
meta.
crazy.
As Jaden continues to narrate a bit, there is a major change right at the start of the year to note as Chancellor Shepard is currently not around at the moment as he's on a trip, which has led to Dr. Crowler being the temporary chancellor of the school. And along along with him, we also get a vice chancellor to be his sidekick, with his name being Bonaparte. Dr. Crowler is extremely excited to greet the new freshman students coming in, but not to welcome each and every one of them, as he only personally wants to greet one student in particular, Aster Phoenix, who is apparently the top-ranked duelist in the world, considered a dueling superstar, and for whatever reason has decided to come to school regardless of his status. You know who else is excited to have a famous duelist at their school? Jaden. Not because Aster is famous or for the fact that he would even know anything about him, but just for the fact that he would want to have a duel on day one. We immediately see Jaden in a friendly battle with Aster, who says he goes by AP. And I love that Jaden is already using his sophomore status in the school to call the new students freshmen as a way to assert the differences of seniority. Come to find out though that this wasn't Jaden who rushed into a duel on day one, but in fact it was AP himself who came to Jaden's dorm as he wanted to challenge the current best duelist at the school. With Cyrus and the others watching, they began cracking jokes at Chaz's expense, thinking that AP is just like him, rich and having a snooty background, and after Chaz claims there is no one like him, AP then plays Ojama Yellow, and you gotta love that. The comedic timing is impeccable. AP's cards here aren't even a deck that he had ready and assembled or what he's known for. He in fact earlier was at the school card shop and just buying whatever random cards were left and lying around and assembled a deck from the scraps like he's Tony Stark in a cave, saying he can build a deck and win with anything, so maybe the rumors are true. Maybe this is the prodigy of all prodigies. I guess we'll just have to see throughout the season how true that really is. As the duel goes on, we get our first elemental hero of the season to make an appearance, with that being elemental hero Sparkman, a fan favorite. Thanks to AP's inner monologue, we find out that his strategy is to understand Jaden and how he plays, opting to use weak and not so powerful cards to really let Jaden show off and feel like he's teaching a freshman the ropes, when really it's all being set up to look that way. Then, while the duel is still happening, AP gets a phone call that interrupts everything as Jaden and the others all think that that's, kind of rude, but AP is doing a good job putting on a nice smile and acting pretty innocent. On the other side of the call is a mysterious figure who we have not met yet, one who is flipping tarot cards, revealing the Reaper of Souls in reverse, telling AP he knows what must be done. We can also tell from the phone call that AP seeking out Jaden for this duel was part of some plan, so right away, no just regular episode reintroduction into Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, time to chill, get adjusted, meet new people. Nah, we immediately get thrown into a mysterious plot that is building up from the get-go, with whoever is on the other side of this phone call and what AP is truly up to. Also, Jaden says, get your phone off and get your game on. It's not important, but come on, I'd be a fool not to mention that one. Jaden keeps up his cocky attitude by feeling like being a mentor is exhausting as AP is seemingly listening to the advice given from him. Also, for whatever reason, Cyrus makes a reference to the American Pie movies by telling a story to the others and saying this one time at duel camp, instead of band camp, but we love the pop culture references here. Back to the duel, Jaden is enjoying it getting turned up a little more, bringing out a new elemental hero fusion, elemental hero Clay Guardian. So that's cool. The two of them go back and forth about the philosophy of their own heart of the cards, basically, where AP is looking at what fate and luck have for him, for what he draws next, where Jaden is all about listening to your cards, where to the average person, that sounds dumb and doesn't make any sense, but Jaden can talk to Wing Karibo, and has had many experiences talking with dual spirits, so for him, he can literally listen to his cards. AP can't really believe that Jaden is supposed to be who he is hyped up to be, as all he sees is someone who gives bad dueling advice, isn't that smart when it comes to schoolwork and general knowledge, as well as feels like this is just a big waste of time and something to move on from. Back with the mysterious cloaked figure, he flips over another tarot card, the Inverted Chariot, which is a warning that the end is near. But the ending was near last season, so it looks like more looming world-ending threats are coming. AP starts giving Jaden some clues as to why this duel is happening, mentioning that he wanted to test Jaden, and the duel at the end of the day is about destiny. Through AP's attacks now, Jaden is forced to do his sacrificing of Winged Karibo to save himself.
I can't
He does
finish
take
this
a moment to say
post.
thanks to Winged Karibo
Feel
for
free to
always
like
doing
and
that
follow.
and being nothing more than a card that comes out to die in some sort of way or another. AP continues on about what he meant about destiny, saying that from the day anyone is born, their whole life is predetermined, continuing by saying that losers are born to be losers, and legends are born to be legends, and YouTubers are born to be disappointments to their parents. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I can't make the 4th of July cookout. I have Yu-Gi-Oh! To talk about. Jaden somehow takes it as a compliment to mean that he himself is a legend, trying to be coy and make jokes that also may not just be jokes about himself, being a hero or teen idol or even a superstar perhaps. Yeah, we do love Jaden as a protagonist, but that doesn't mean he is without cringe, just like me. Insert Jordan cringe joke here. We then cut to a flashback of AP and this
Look on these
mysterious cloaked
scary
guy
memes.
as he tells AP that he must lose in a duel to Jaden. It's the only way that he can be certain that Jaden is the one. Whatever being the one means. Most times, it's not a good thing to be the one. Only bad things come your way. Why not be, the guy instead? Cake. Well, maybe don't be the guy either. AP clearly doesn't want to lose to Jaden. He doesn't seem too particularly fond of who he is in general, but he is told that he must lose. This is the way, and he must obey the orders given. We're talking about destiny after all. We also hear AP refer to this person as their manager, so something to keep in mind and take down as information. It will be on the test. Jaden does his thing and ends up getting elemental hero Tempest out on the field, pulling off a combo hit from them to then use diffusion, letting each of the 3 elemental heroes now attack and defeat AP in the duel. And after the duel, Jaden talks to AP about it, mentioning the usual stuff like, I know it was fun, it was a good time. But the writers of the series really play into the jokes about Jaden being cocky, as after referring to himself as a legend again, and that someday AP will be great just like him, he goes into saying that you can't get cocky or think of yourself in such egotistical ways. Again, for those who forgot, AP is apparently the world's best ranked duelist currently, unbeknownst to Jaden and the others at the moment. Anyway, AP walks away from the duel unsure of why his manager is so obsessed with Jaden, admitting that sure, he's a fine enough duelist, but why him? Why is Jaden so important here? On top of all this, Miss Dorothy is low-key crushing on AP, so weird, inappropriate stuff aside, Jaden returns to the others after his win, and it seems like Alexis thinks AP is cute as well. So that throws a potential wrench into her feelings for Jaden, maybe. I don't know, I'm here for the cards, not the crushes. Jaden ends up referring to AP as App, but this triggers something in Cyrus, saying, wait, AP, I know those initials, as he then reaches into his bag to pull out information on him, saying he's Aster Phoenix, where Alexis jumps in to say that Aster Phoenix is the #1 duelist in the world. Then Miss Dorothy lets him know that AP wasn't even using his real deck in the duel, taking a bit out of the win for Jaden here, but even more so on top of all of this, and something just for us the audience, he doesn't know that AP threw the match on purpose. He does get all of this flipped into a positive for himself to stay motivated and feeling good, knowing that they will duel again one day and hopefully he can go up against his real deck. We cut back to the docks where Dr. Crowler and Bonaparte are waiting for AP to make an appearance from the ship to greet him, not knowing that he's already been on the island and had a whole duel with Jaden and everything that just took place. As with the day nearly coming to an end and all of the students have exited the boat, which by the way is way less exciting than flying in on a helicopter like at the start of the first season for all the new students, we get introduced to another new character who is wearing a raw yellow uniform, introducing himself as Tyranno Hasselberry. Okay, who is responsible for all the American names of these characters? Because they deserve a raise. That's amazing. He makes a big entrance about wanting to know why he's in raw yellow and not obelisk blue, claiming to be one of the best duelists out there. But they just come up with some excuses about him not wanting to be there anyway. Who needs obelisk blue? Raw yellow is where you want to be. It's because he's too gung-ho and ambitious to just be put in obelisk blue, and for now he just accepts this and is happy about it. But I guess we got a new explosive character to add into the mix this season, and based on the name, maybe you can guess what type of cards are in his deck. After all the students are gone, Dr. Crowler and Bonaparte try and think differently after not getting to meet Aster Phoenix, claiming they don't need him to be their primary star to make the school look great, as they could just have a whole school full of stars, as they start having talks of a plan to somehow eliminate the need for a Slifer Red dorm, only wanting to keep it to the upper 2 other ones, ending the episode with a lot of mysteries to uncover, crazy plots to unfold, and a whole lot of epic duels on the way coming soon. It's good to be back at Duel Academy.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX will continue in a moment.
If you're looking for the most value for your manja, you should move to the east side. You always get more than you can manja with these side Mario's all-you-can-eat soup, salad, and garlic home loaf. Hey, bada boo, bada bing!
Now it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
While the second episode of the season is more filler than anything, there are some things of importance here to still note, like Chaz getting to have an official duel with some freshman in Obelisk Blue for the chance to earn his place back in that dorm instead of being stuck in Slifer Red. This irritates Cyrus most of all because he believes if anyone in Slifer Red deserves that opportunity, it should be Jaden. This was all set up by Dr. Crowler, who believes that AP isn't showing up and didn't really want to go to Duel Academy anyway, so after crying about this, the plan is to make someone else the face of the the school, wanting that to be Chaz Princeton, and giving him hopefully an easy ride to the top again to be in the highest ranked dorm to be a star. The duel itself doesn't amount to anything special other than Chaz showing off that he still got it, even when his opponent has some strong cards and strong strategies. He does in fact Chaz it up. Chaz ends up winning in the end, and the Slifer Reds celebrate as Chaz makes note that the color of your jacket doesn't really mean anything to prove if you're a better duelist or not, which leads everyone into thinking that he meant he was going to stay a Slifer Red, and that's how Dr. Crowler interprets it, and begins to just go along with it instead of being mad that his planned new prodigy isn't upgrading dorms despite winning. I don't know, it is what it is, I guess. It seems like Dr. Crowler can run a better story about a Slifer Red being so talented, but the Vice Chancellor is all against this, and really wants to get rid of the Slifer Reds, explaining that he was being serious about what he mentioned in the last episode. He wants to get rid of the Slifer Red dorm no matter what it takes. Cyrus ended up walking by the office at this moment and was able to listen in on what they were talking about. Of course, he ends up telling Jaden about this, but for now, it seems that improvements to the dorm are being made, and by that, I mean that Chaz is using his money to upgrade his own room to be a higher standard if he is still going to be a Slifer Red for even longer. Continuing on, Cyrus ends up explaining to Jaden that there is someone who is blocking a main walking path that is actively bullying other duelists by defeating them in duels and taking their duel discs away, as Cyrus had this happen to him and would rather avoid dealing with this guy. But of course, Jaden wants to check it out and get his game on, with the bully ending up being one of the new students who we briefly just met, Tyranno. As he is surprised Jaden isn't scared to get into a duel with him, he introduces himself along with his gang, Team Tyranno. Every one of them having fun twangs to their voices, and I love it. Imagine hating on the silly voices when they just make things fun. You know, couldn't be me. It's definitely some of you in the comments. Jaden makes a deal with Tyranno over the duel where if he loses, he forfeits his duel disc, but if he wins, then everyone can get theirs back that Tyranno has taken. Cyrus is so pumped up for this, being fed up with Tyranno and his team, with Tyranno acting like a drill sergeant. So Cyrus is trying to harness some of that energy to root for Jaden and to tell the other team to just shut up. For Tyranno, his cards are based on dinosaurs, which hey, I think is cool, but what I don't get here is why his character is also militant. Are his cards also going to be soldier or army based on top of the dinosaurs? It's just a weird combination of things for a character to be. It doesn't mean it's bad, it's just odd. He gets a moment to have a flashback for us to understand his backstory of being here a bit, where he proved well in the entrance exams, but was shocked that he wasn't put into Obelisk Blue, and from there how he built his platoon of other raw yellows who cheer him on, as we also learn that his dad was a general, allegedly, so that military-esque lifestyle growing up is built into his DNA. His dino DNA. Speaking of that reference, well, that's a nice backstory and all. I was distracted by the rip-off Jurassic Park shirt. Where can I get one? I need it. Cyrus, though, says what we're all thinking while Tyranno keeps going on, telling him to quit with the monologuing and get on with the duel. At one point, Tyranno plays the field spell card Jurassic World, and that really couldn't be more timely. There's a new Jurassic World movie in theaters right now, so leave your totally original opinions on it in the comments below if you've seen it. As the duel goes on with Jaden and Tyranno going at each other with different strategies, Jaden seems to always keep a cool head on his shoulders, not really taking anything too seriously like usual, leading to Cyrus winning over Tyranno's supporters to now be invested in what Jaden is doing and how he is just handling everything with the duel. Thanks to this, we get to learn more about Tyranno because once he notices this shift, he does get more heated in the duel, but internally, he mentions that this always happens. He finds a squad of his own, but they always turn on him or abandon him in the end, and it's probably because he's abrasive and not gaining general friends as he treats them like he's their superior, that they should listen to and follow. Again, a lot of stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can just be resolved by a character going to therapy or something. When Tyranno gets out his black Tyranno, you know what, let me just call him Hassleberry from now on. That'll make things easier. Hassleberry has it go to defeat Jaden, but thanks to his trap card insurance, Jaden was able to get some life points to stay in the game, only having 100 left though. Now Hassleberry starts trauma dumping about always losing his supporters, thinking himself to be a great leader that anyone would want to follow, especially for how good of a duelist he is, and giving the example of him leading this duel right now.
Think about it, Dingleberry.
Okay, Jaden, that mess up of his name was intentional, and it's messed up, man. But you do get a pass because, whew, did I legit laugh out loud at that coming from out of nowhere. Jaden brings up that Hassleberry already mentioned that he's played the same cards and strategies for 12 duels in a row, and tells him that his supporters are probably just bored, and he needs to evolve with the times and not be afraid to divert from the same repetitious pattern that you'd see in someone who is from a military family. And you know, the whole evolve line ties into evolution and dinosaurs, and you get it. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! There's lots of puns, it's all the time, it never stops. But when these words hit, Hassleberry Hasselberry says Jaden's right, to which he responds, he always is. Man, what a guy Jaden is. You gotta love him. As Jaden starts shifting the tide of the duel, Hasselberry realizes that his problem is being stuck in the past. He does need to evolve and not be stuck in his old safe ways, with Jaden acknowledging that he can tell he's figured it out as they both play out the rest of the duel. You know, when you think about it, unless the plot calls for it, Jaden just ends up playing the same cards with the same strategies all the time, just in random order, which most people with a set built deck would, but at least he switches it up and changes things here and there and doesn't do the same set of tactics in the same order every single time, so I guess it's all good. You know what, Jaden, you were this close to getting called out for being a hypocrite, but then that would require every player to be called a hypocrite. Anyway, he ends up bringing out a new elemental hero, this being elemental hero Wild Wingman. Okay, can we just bring in the elemental hero of Neos and others already, because we have to be at the limit of fusing the same like 7 elemental heroes together already. No offense to Wild Wingman here, but you know, come on. Now Jaden ends up using his Wild Wingman and Blade Edge to defeat Hasselberry's Black Tyranno and attack directly, but with 900 life points left keeping Hasselberry in the game, Jaden uses Diffusion, letting Avian and Wildheart be themselves again to attack and finish the duel. With Jaden winning, Hasselberry ended up having a fun time with how it all went and gave back the duel disc that he has been taking. So maybe he will have a good redemption going forward to learn from Jaden and also, you know, not steal duel discs from other people. You only need one, and not 15. Anyway, back at the Slifer Red dorm, Dr. Crowler and the Vice Chancellor are spying on what's going on, with Bonaparte still really trying to push for the destruction of Slifer Red. Inside the dorms, however, is now Hasselberry, who is wanting to follow in the guidance of Jaden and be a part of his friend group or platoon or whatever he wants to think of this as. So that's cool to see. I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Factor. I do struggle with time management sometimes. I can't always be going to the grocery store, especially when I have a lot going on between my work life and my personal life. I also don't just want to order takeout all the time, so that's where Factor comes in. Finding a way to make everything even easier and doing so in a much healthier and better tasting way. Factor offers fast and healthy pre-prepared meals that come in a delivery kit straight to your door. With a plethora of options ranging from calorie smart, keto, protein plus, vegan, and veggie, there's always something that your taste buds will thank you for choosing. Each week you have a list of highly customizable chef-made options to choose from for your upcoming shipment. It's literally as easy as popping this into the microwave, and in 2 minutes, a nicely prepared meal is ready to eat. Aside from the great meals, Factor offers some other great options for you like smoothies or juices, which are perfect to get your morning started, as well as more like small bites or full-on breakfast options. As I always do want to continue eating healthier and